Then you just show up after all the real work's been done and think you can collect a damn check.
I ain't looking for no check. I just want a relationship with my daughter.
She's the...
Now, there really is no denying relationships are reaching boiling point, whether we're looking at Kanan and Rock, Lou and Crown, Rock and the Italian Mafia, and from a few exclusive clips, we've got Kenya and Marvin. So it is safe to say, things are reaching a boiling point in relationships where shit will start to hit the fan, and it's all starting in episode 6. Over the past few weeks, we could tell the episodes were just building the foundation for an absolute chaotic second half of the season, and that's where I think we're heading across the board, especially when it comes to the relationship between Kanan and Rock. Their relationship has never been the same after she had Kanan shoot Detective Howard, and it really is even more complex now that we got Howard pushing the truth on Kanan. But on the other hand, you got Rock burying him with more lies, and you've also got Duke warning him Howard's a lying ass cop.
What if he tell him the truth?
He's a fucking lying-ass cop, Kanan. And that's what cops do. They lie.
So I guess you could say, quite ironic considering she ends up becoming a cop. But we're gonna run through all things episode 6 in this preview, breaking down the synopsis, exclusive images, and any exclusive clips. So with that being said, episode 6 is titled, It's a Business Man, and the synopsis reads, Rock assures everybody they need to follow orders and keep working as planned. Kanan takes on more responsibility, but things go awry when he runs into neighborhood kids, and Lou feels the pressure with his partnership with Crown. So with the title referencing how it's business, let's start with some exclusive images of Kanan getting back in the mix. Now, Rock tried to connect with Kanan at the Catskills, but she knows she had to completely change the game in order to pull him away from Howard. So now we've got Rock introducing Kanan into the game. But when it comes to a situation, they don't exactly seem like they're gonna see eye to eye. And I'm gonna come to how Kanan could end up leaning on Palomar instead. But Kanan will come across two issues in terms of the streets in episode 6, one with some kids in the neighborhood and the other with Famous being arrested. So just looking at Famous for a moment, we know when someone gets a taste of the game and they see that money that can be made in the streets, they either start getting greedy or build that hunger of being in the game, exactly like Brayden in Power Book 2 Ghost. So you got Kanan and Famous running from the cops, and potentially the mixtapes that they already sold in episode 3 coming back to haunt them, because there was a hell of a lot of evidence left on the streets by crackheads. Now, Kanan will look to Marvin to front him some cash and help with Famous, but Marvin's learned his lesson from past mistakes. Don't get involved with Kanan behind Rock's back. So how does Kanan exactly deal with this one? Could we see a scenario where Kanan actually looks to Detective Howard for some help? We're gonna see Howard back in his detective attire, so it does seem like he's back in the office and in the streets. And something Howard said in season 1 was that he could protect Kanan. So could we see Howard coming to Famous' rescue before he starts blabbing his mouth? Because Famous does have a tendency to blab his mouth, and there are a few examples. In season 1, he called Davina a snitch in front of Kanan. We all know about Streets Need a Body at the showcase, but more recently, he blabbed his mouth to Lou about Jessica sleeping with Crown. So even though Famous doesn't mean to drop these secrets, he does have a tendency to run his mouth, something he can't control, and I'm hoping he doesn't run his mouth to Detective Berg. But focusing on Kanan and Howard's relationship, we don't actually know what was said when Kanan went to meet Howard at the end of episode 4, but if I was in Kanan's shoes, I would keep my mouth shut and ears open and basically just observe everything that's happening around him, who's saying what, and who's there for him in a time of need. Now, something else we need to look out for is Detective Berg. She's been spying on Howard, and she's getting closer and closer as each episode passes by, and I really wouldn't be surprised if she was watching Howard meeting Kanan. But Howard will be wary of Berg because he does know she's onto him, so let's see how Howard plays Detective Berg. Now, coming back to Kanan potentially turning to Palomar, we already know she's gonna give him a piece, but what is this all about? We saw how Kanan had eyes for Palomar as well as Corinne, but can we trust either of them, or are they working an angle with Kanan? Hopefully we learn more about them in episode 6. But coming away from all things Kanan, Rock looks like she needs to cash in her favor with Unique. Rock's got an Italian problem, but this also plays right into Unique's hands, which is definitely what he wants. He pushed this beef with the Italians just the right amount, where she had to come to him for a favor, and what this does is, it gets him back in the game. And the worst thing is, she's going to Unique for help, and she still doesn't know it was him who tipped off the Italian mafia about rock importing into Jersey, nor does she know that Worrell was working with Unique, and this is why this game of chess has been so cleverly played by Unique. His moves really have flown under the radar of Rock, and I am kind of rooting for him. But will Rock open her eyes before it's too late? And will Rock make a deal with Sal Baselli? Now, I made reference to the 50th law written by 50, and with how Rock loves being in power and control, and if she gives in to Sal's demands, she's no longer the one in control, at least not in Jersey anyway. But then if Sal has control over you in Jersey, the risk that Rock has, he could move into Queens. This is why Rock doesn't want to hand over the power to Sal, but then she finds herself in a bit of a catch-22. Does she protect her family? Does she make the deal? Does she continue to expand? She really does find herself with a big decision to make, and also has issues across the board with Unique, Worrell, Sal Baselli, and that's not even counting Kanan as well as Lou. Now, she's been having this back and forth with Lou all season, and she's going to question him whether he missed Worrell on purpose, which I don't think Lou did, but his mind just wasn't right after he had to kill D-Wiz. But this was an exclusive scene between him and Ziza.
Who do you think, Lou?
So it does seem Lou's business first, but how will Ziza take being rejected? Sometimes people can really take this the wrong way, and we all know there's this simmering beef between Lou and Crown, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Crown stirring shit up once again. So as we talk about one rejection, let's come to another.
Nobody needs you back here, Kenya.
I should have been here, and I wasn't. I'm sorry, Marvin.
Now, there are a few talking points from this exchange between Kenya and Marvin, and I'm sure we could all see the hurt in Marvin's eyes. Kenya leaving him in the manner she did really hurt him, and it's something which probably was a catalyst to him spiraling out of control, which ended up with him doing a bid in Elmira. But now that Marvin has told Kenya to be gone, probably after Rock told him Kenya's back, how will Duke react? We're gonna see mother and daughter on a shopping trip and spending more time together, and finally Duke's got some sort of happiness back, but do we all expect it to last? Definitely not. Now, we also know Marvin's trying to change for Duke, and he's making a bit more of an effort, but he's got nowhere so far, and Duke has no plans to forgive him either. She made that clear in episode 1. So what do you think is going to happen when Duke finds out Marvin's been to visit Kenya to tell her to disappear? It's just going to cause another family feud between Marvin and Duke, and maybe we could see Rock intervene. And if she does, I really do fear for Kenya. So this whole situation between Marvin, Kenya, Duke, and possibly Rock really is complex. But elsewhere, we need to keep an eye on Marvin and Tony. She was one person who was in my death predictions, and I do think there's going to be a break after episode 6, so maybe we could expect some death as well as a cliffhanger or two. And with that being said, drop all your thoughts and predictions down below for all things episode 6. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.